Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, Post Narcissist. Thank you so much for coming in to listen. Please remember to subscribe. I think the more subscribers that we can get, the more people that we can reach with these messages. So today I want to talk about the different types of narcissists, because they're not all the same, right? And depending on which one that you have dealt with, really will dictate how you deal with them. So there's four major types, and the thing is, they're not all completely one or the other. There's some of them have traits where you know exactly what type of narcissist that they are, and they don't dabble in any of the other ones, right? And then you can get some narcissists that have just a little bit of each, right? Or a mixture of them. And there's so many different grades of narcissists. I kind of look at it for, like your zodiac sign. If you're, say you're a Sagittarius. Well, Sagittarius have certain traits, but you can have a little bit of each zodiac sign within you, so with narcissism, I really see it scaling down to about 4. So let's go through them. We'll start with the grandiose narcissist, because this is the one that you can spot a mile away. They're Donald Trump, right? So they're the loudest one in the room. They make an uproar constantly to get everyone to look at them, to listen to them, to see what they're doing. They really think that they're above and beyond everybody else in every facet of life, whether it's the way they look or the way they act or what the things that they do. And they're all about getting recognition constantly, and everyone everyone's seeing it, right? And if you aren't on board with looking at them, complimenting them, following them, well, they just cast you aside. Everyone in the entire world is a step below them, is the way they see it, right? And so these guys are they go through. I think that this particular type, the grandiose narcissists, will go through their relationships and their supply extremely fast. But they have endless supply, and they're not shy about going out there and dating different people and many people and going through relationships, and I believe these types are very much, whether they're good looking or not, they think that they're the best looking in the room. They really do. I mean, and I always think of, Donald Trump as well. He thinks he's good looking with that hair. He really does. And it's just ridiculous. Right. And even at his age, like when he was young, I'm sure he was even worse. And now that he's president, well, it's just putting gasoline on a flame, isn't it? So, that's like the grandiose narcissist is the one that the entire world can see. Right. And the thing is, they don't even care. Whether or not people, what other people think of them, because they know that they're the best, and if you can't see that, that's your problem, So the grandiose. So on the other spectrum, of course, is the covert, and that's the one that I was married to. So the covert has every single feeling and thought that the grandiose does, right? Except they keep it hidden. They keep all those thoughts almost to themselves, but they still have them. They really do think that they're the best at everything. They think they're the best looking. They think they're the best at whatever job it is. They think they're the best husband or boyfriend or girlfriend, or they think that, but they don't tell everybody. They don't broadcast it constantly. But they're the exact same as the grandiose, except that they're cloaked, right? So it makes them harder to spot, right? because they're not always, and even if they are in the spotlight and have to be on stage or something where everyone can see them, they'll act like they don't like that. They pretend that they're all this reserved, but they still need to, drink up the fuel just as much from the world as they can because of who they are. They are wearing that permanent mask. I mean, it is cemented onto them, and they don't want the whole world to see who they really are. But they're, at their core, they're the exact same as the grandiose, right? And the covert narcissist will they'll almost be like, they don't understand why the world doesn't get how great they are. Right? And they almost act like they're depressed sometimes. Like, they're just very hidden. But if you want to know what they're about, they're the same as the grandiose. And then you have a very dangerous narcissist, like some people call them the malignant narcissist. Now, remember, when I go through all of these, at the core, they're all the grandiose. But if you're dealing with the malignant narcissist, these guys are very mean. They're almost sadistic. They get almost enjoyment of it, and they are not the covert. They do not hide the enjoyment that they get from being mean to people, Like, they will have arguments with you, loud, fiery arguments behind closed doors with you. And they almost relish in the negative fuel that they can get from everyone. The malignant narcissist loves the negative fuel just as much as the positive. And they're extremely dangerous, right? Because, like, when narcissists need fuel, the grandiose narcissist and the covert narcissist, they like the positive fuel better, right? They love people telling them that they love them more, especially the covert. But the malignant narcissist, if you scream at them, "I hate you," and they start an argument and they're mean to you to get you to hate them, that is that fuel that they get from that is the same as the positive. They get the same amount of enjoyment as "I love you" as "I hate you." They're extremely dangerous, in my opinion, if you come across a malignant narcissist, right? Because, they'll just drum up some negative fuel from everybody. These guys get into fights and are argumentative, and these guys, they cheat. And when they get caught cheating, they'll drink up that fuel just as much as if they were not caught. So they like to be in the open about things, about bad things, almost as much as the good. So I find the malignant narcissists they'll do just as much damage as a covert narcissist, I think, but it is more in the open, so they can drink up that fuel of it being in the open. So they do so much damage. And then the final one is more of like the commercial narcissist. Now, they are kind of a little bit opposite of the malignant. So the commercial narcissists, they are all about being seen for good things that they do, right? Like, they're the first one out there to volunteer and to, join some cause of sorts. These are usually they're the nice narcissists, right? But they need to be, because of the kind of work and things that they do, they really are the most online. They're the ones that are counting every single like that they get on social media, and everything they do is for praise for them, for good things, right? They're not about drinking up negative fuel. They're about drinking up positive fuel from as many sources as possible. I mean, they're always saving the world, and the only reason that they're saving the world is because of the reaction that people have towards them for saving it. But at their inner core, they don't care if the world burns or not, but they just want to be seen as saving it, right? They will like do things like, like they'll be seen, pulling puppies out of a burning building, but the thing is, they're the one that set the fire, right? So they're very much in the open. They have to be seen by everybody for good things they do, and they will not do anything behind closed doors. Everything's in the open. Everyone can see all the good they do. They drink up the fuel from all this positiveness, and everyone is beneath them just the same as, remember, they're just the same as the grandiose. Everyone's beneath them. And they step on the necks of everybody to get to the top for everything good that they did, right? Like they're so much having to have people see them every minute. They are not a quiet narcissist like the coverts, and they're not mean, but they are, and they'll be just the same as like the grandiose, but they just need to be in front of their audience, and they need to drink up fuel and likes, and they'll be constantly doing things just to get praise. So it's a very commercial type narcissist. So, and we all have to understand what the inner stem is with all of them, that right, what a narcissist is, like the lack of empathy that they have. They all have that at their core, but they'll come out a little bit differently. There's like, I always saw it, like those are 4 major types, but really they're like, they're 50 shades of gray type thing. Like they're all shades of narcissism. The scale, to me, is infinite. And you can place your narcissist anywhere on it, right? But those are like the 4, I would say, major types. And then you can, once you know what kind of type your narcissist is, it might serve you better to know how to deal with them, right? And for my part, my suggestion always is to get as far away from all of them as possible, right? Because that's the only way you're really safe, is not to be involved with them at all. But say you have to, say, you were married to one or had a relationship and you have kids and you have to stay with them. And a lot of us have narcissists in our lives, like our boss or co-workers, our neighbors, there's going to be people that we come across all the time that are narcissists. And I think if you live in if you live somewhere like, say, California, it's like a breeding ground of narcissists there, and same with New York, like major cities have, I think, it's just like there's cesspools of narcissism. So, and I don't know why I even said that. But when you're dealing with a narcissist, if you know what type they are and know what kind of fuel they're always looking for, it might serve you better to know what kind they are, so you can deal with them better if you have them in your life. And so I did want to touch, because that's an important step of knowing the narcissist and dealing with them afterwards, or or finding out how you can actually break up with them and escape them even. So thank you guys for listening. It took me a while to get another video out. The last one that I had done was very intense for me, so I needed to take a little bit of a break after that one. But I really appreciate your guys' support. I love all the comments. I try to read every single one, because that's where we can all go to support each other as we all move forward post Narcissist.